Hi, it's Friday, August 16th, and we're tracking Hurricane Ernesto as it now approaches the coastline of Bermuda. You can see the island here in the center part of your screen, right in the middle of this radar picture, and the eye of Ernesto getting closer, now less than 150 kilometers from the island. We've had deteriorating conditions all day today. We are now getting sustained winds of tropical storm force. You can see on the observations from the Bermuda Weather Service, we have sustained winds getting up to tropical storm force now, 36, 37 knots, and gusts even higher. In fact, we just had a gust not too long ago of 50 knots. That's about 60 miles per hour on the island. And these are going to continue rising as we go throughout the night tonight. As you can see, once again, this eye is moving towards the island. And now the current track looks to be a bit hard to tell with the little frames we have here, but it looks like it may be moving a little bit east of due north. And this may put the core of the center or the core of the storm either on the western end or just west of the Bermuda as it passes and makes its closest approach sometime tonight or tomorrow. Now, the unfortunate aspect of this is the strongest winds in the storm have historically been, at least from recon data in the past, on this northeastern side of the storm. So as this comes in, even if it stays west of the island, you're likely going to get a very nasty eastern side of the storm, and this is going to be a wild night for Bermuda, and I hope everyone is hunkered down and is safe as the storm comes through. This is a current analyzed wind field from the Hurricane Center, National Hurricane Center that is, and you can see the tropical storm force wind field well now inside that in Bermuda, and the hurricane force wind field is getting close. So these tropical storm force winds that we're seeing here on these observations, they're going to keep rising throughout the night tonight, and those gusts will only get higher as well. Now, if we look at the structure of Ernesto, the good news is the storm has not been able to rapidly intensify like some models had suggested was possible over the past few days. If you look at microwave data from earlier this afternoon, you can see that we do have a closed eye on this microwave pass, but we're really lacking any banding on the western side of the storm. This is a result because we have a lot of westerly shear coming right into the system. You can see on water vapor, we've got northwesterly flow coming out of the United States, curling up into southwesterly flow north of Bermuda. This is outlining an upper trough that's currently ushering the storm northeast. This is what's helping the storm stay away from the U.S. But what it's also doing is imparting a little bit of shear upon the system. If you look on the west side of the storm, you can see some cirrus clouds being pushed off towards the east, towards the center of Ernesto. And we also have a lot of dry air, which you would expect at a base of a trough like this, also potentially getting forced into that western side of the storm, likely getting what we're seeing here with this very void, just no convection at all western side. And this has really kept the system from rapidly intensifying because we've really never had, for at least a very long time, a very well-formed and compact center. In fact, for the most part of Ernesto's life, the strongest winds have been well removed from the eye. And that has led to the storm not being able to intensify to say what some models have wanted, Category 3, potentially some Category 4 like some models had wanted. But it still was able to intensify some. And right now, the current estimate from the NHC is about 100 miles per hour. That makes it a Category 2. We do have recon in there right now, and they are sampling the storm. They're only on their first pass right now, just went to the southeast side. And if we look at the data so far, this does not really support Category 2. This would be more of a Category 1 hurricane, maybe 85, 90 miles per hour. Although this storm has historically had its strongest winds on the northeast side, so I'd wait for recon to get through that side before fully making a claim that's no longer Category 2. But of course, still 85, 90 miles per hour, that's still significant. And that's going to still lead to a nasty night here in Bermuda as the storm comes through. And the storm may slow down a little bit as it does come through the island. You can see that right now, if we look at the upper level wind plot from the GFS, we've got this upper trough. We can see it as well on water vapor that's helping to usher the storm further north. Now, this pattern further north of the system is very progressive. It's moving very fast. So you're going to see this trough lift out very quickly. Behind it, we're going to get a little bit of reinforcing ridging. It's kind of hard to see on this map, but there's areas of high pressure building east of the storm. And this is keeping the system a little bit slower in this time of the forecast. So it's going to slow down a little bit. It's not going to be, some to where it's very slow or near stalling, but it's still going to slow down a bit. And that could allow the system to, of course, bring more impacts to Bermuda, but also intensify a little bit. As you can also see, that trough leaves, that westerly shear kind of backs off, and now we've got more flow out of the south in the upper levels, which is more in line with where the storm is tracking. So we may see maybe a little bit of a rebound north of Bermuda. Now, don't worry in, say, the northeast US or Atlantic Canada. This isn't going to be a scenario where we have a ridge building here and this forces it further west. We do have a reinforcing trough here over the Ohio Valley. This is also quickly moving east, and this will be ushering the storm out of our area as we get into early next week. And by, say Sunday and Monday for Bermuda, the storm will be leaving the scene and will be clearing out of the hurricane's impacts. But you can see here, we could still potentially be seeing impacts from the storm by Sunday morning. This is about 2 a.m. Sunday local time, and this could still be impacts to Bermuda. So it's going to be a wild weekend here in Bermuda, but hopefully the impacts will not be as bad as they could have been with, a major hurricane coming through here, if it did indeed intensify to that degree. Now, for Atlantic Canada, there is still some concern for the system coming your way because we do have this reinforcing ridge that's going to force it a little bit more west. You can see it here on the model. There's that ridge that builds as that trough departs. And now we've got the system coming a little bit more north, and we're now getting a further north starting point here before it starts recurving. Now, right now, the current model suite or track is in general agreement that the system will track just south enough to allow the system to avoid a direct hit on Atlantic Canada. But that can't be guaranteed. You can see the GFS here does have this coming pretty far north, and we actually get, this must be transitioning into a non-tropical system, but this is a pretty significant storm coming up here to Atlantic Canada. And, we're not, like I said, looking at this system being a very strong hurricane when it comes to it. It will be weakening. It will be transitioning into a non-tropical cyclone, but it could still have some significant winds with it. If we go to the surface wind field, you can see that we have some pretty strong winds here, especially on the eastern side of that. And especially if it does come further north, right, say inland into Atlantic Canada, that could put that nasty band of wind right into the coastline, and you could get a lot of water rise and, of course, a lot of rainfall as the system does come through, even with its faster motion. But you can see the good news is with that faster motion, it does get out of here pretty quickly, and by it's impacting the region by Monday night, and by Tuesday afternoon, long gone. So we're not looking at a long duration event type thing here. This is looking like a very quick pass, which is usual for storms here in Atlantic Canada. Look at the 5-day forecast from the Hurricane Center. You'll see that general idea of having the storm slow down a little bit over the next couple of days and then speeding up as it recurves north. Again, the model suite still having the system stay offshore, but there is a range here. We could have the system still coming ashore, and if it does, we could increase wind impacts over Atlantic Canada. But you can see that fast motion. By Monday afternoon, it's here south of Atlantic Canada, and by Tuesday afternoon, it's well south of Greenland. So very quick motion, and you can see that weakening trend as well, and transitioning into a non-tropical cyclone. Now, for preparations in Atlantic Canada, if you are preparing for the tropical storm force winds that may come, right now the current earliest expected arrival time of tropical storm force winds could be Monday morning. It will most likely be Monday afternoon into Monday evening as it quickly approaches, but just in case, say the storm's a little quicker than forecast, Monday morning is a good bet. And if you're going to finalize on any preparations, make sure they're done by that time. And they won't have to be up for too long, as you can see. Once again, by that timing, Tuesday well out to sea and out of our hair, and then we move on to what's next in the tropics as we head further into August. That's all that I've got for today. Stay safe in Bermuda as a storm comes through. I probably have another video out as it moves further north and talking about the potential impacts to Atlantic Canada. But as for Bermuda, stay safe as a storm comes through. I know you all are usually really good at getting hurricane preparedness ready for these storms, but it's always a little bit more scary when it actually does come through your area. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.